Have you ever had a really bad day? Imagine being thrown into a pit, sold by your own brothers, and ending up in prison for something you didn't do? Sounds like a movie, right? But this is the real-life story of Joseph, a boy who went from prisoner to prince. Want to know how? Let's dive in. It had been years since Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers and sold into slavery. He had served faithfully in the house of Potiphar, an Egyptian official, but was falsely accused and thrown into prison. Yet, even in the darkest of places, Joseph never lost his faith in God. One day, two of Pharaoh's servants, the royal cupbearer and baker, were thrown into the same prison. Both had strange dreams, and they turned to Joseph for answers. "Tell me your dreams," Joseph said, "for interpretations belong to God." The cupbearer spoke first. "I saw a vine with 3 branches, full of ripe grapes. I squeezed the juice into Pharaoh's cup and placed it in his hand." Joseph smiled. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore you to your position." Encouraged, the baker shared his dream. "I had 3 baskets of bread on my head, but birds came and ate them all." Joseph's face darkened. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will take your life." And so it happened. But as the cupbearer returned to the palace, he forgot all about Joseph, leaving him in prison for 2 more years. One night, Pharaoh had a troubling dream. He saw 7 fat cows grazing by the Nile, only to be devoured by 7 thin, sickly cows. Then he dreamed of 7 healthy stalks of grain, swallowed by 7 withered ones. Disturbed, Pharaoh summoned all his wise men, but none could explain the meaning. It was then that the cupbearer remembered Joseph, the man who had interpreted his dream in prison. "There is a Hebrew man in the dungeon who can interpret dreams," he told Pharaoh. Without delay, Joseph was summoned before the mighty ruler. Standing before Pharaoh, Joseph declared, "I cannot interpret dreams, but God can." He explained, "Your dreams reveal the future. Egypt will have 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of terrible famine. You must store food during the good years to survive the bad." Pharaoh was amazed. "Who else is as wise as this man?" he proclaimed. "Joseph shall be second only to me in all of Egypt." In a moment, Joseph's chains were removed. He was clothed in fine linen, given Pharaoh's signet ring, and placed in command of the entire kingdom. The slave had become a ruler. As Joseph predicted, the famine came, and people from all nations traveled to Egypt for food, including his own brothers. They did not recognize him, but as they bowed before him, Joseph remembered his dreams from long ago. He tested them to see if their hearts had changed. When he saw their sincerity, Joseph could no longer hide the truth. With tears in his eyes, he revealed, "I am Joseph, your brother." His brothers trembled in fear, but Joseph reassured them, "Do not be afraid. You meant evil against me, but God used it for good, to save many lives." And so, Joseph's family was reunited. His father, Jacob, came to Egypt, and the family settled in the land. The boy who was once a slave had become the savior of his people. God's plan is always at work, even in our darkest moments. Joseph's story reminds us that faith, patience, and forgiveness can turn trials into triumphs. If you love this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more amazing Bible adventures.